Okay, thanks. So my name is Zhang Gang. I'm a PhD student here at ILBS. And I have a question for Mr. Wang Shi. So first, I want to thank you to come here and to give us a wonderful speech. And second, my question is that I think you have been a very successful man in many aspects of your life. You have built one of the best home developers in China, in the world, and one of the most successful private companies in China. And also in terms of personal challenge, you have climbed so many mountains, and also you have been to the north and also South Pole. And also you have done so.
Well, what are your questions? Please.
Actually, I think Mr. Wang now has another career as an MC.
Okay. I will be very short. So my question is that what kind of dreams and personal and goals do you have now? Because you have done so much. So what kind of dreams do you have now?
Where are you headed next, I guess?
Another dream. Huh? Of course, I have a dream. That for me, another dream that I went sailing around the world, and that the time began. Maybe that is beginning. I guess that 2015, and sailing around the world.
Okay.
Yes, that's my another dream.
Yeah, I think it's very cool. But do you have dreams in the kind of your career? So do you want to do more things in terms of in the company side?
I think that different industry for my company, that the industry, that business, the model that mainly that residential property. And I also, that's not a dream, that's the goal. I believe one of the day, the cities that don't need apartment or residential home again. I believe one of the day. But I want the last one that will be made by Vanke. That's my about my company's goal. That means you have to resistant only for one business. Whatever happened, you have to resistant. Why I say that? Because now in China, the huge market, too many opportunities. So maybe as the new companies, more than 90%, maybe 95%, they are to do different business, only for the opportunities, or only for chance. So I didn't agree with that. I think if you only focus on one business and to follow that way to go, in China market, huge market, everything, even a small business, you will focus on, only do this. I think that very, very good future, in my opinion.
Great, brilliant. A question in the front there.
Thank you, Mr. Wang. My name is Nathan Lee. I'm working for FRA. We are a specialist of cross-border merger acquisitions between China and Europe. I really appreciate your presentation. My question is, you mentioned the Chinese property bubble has been well controlled by the government, and the price control has been effective, successful. And my question to you is this going forward, is this a sustainable way to deal with the property bubble? And the property bubble, is it just an issue of price control, or is this also an issue, reflection of the insufficient, in terms of the system providing other investment opportunities to people, and also that systematically there isn't a sufficient health care, pension, retirement for people in China, as a property investment was only investment options for people in China. So is there would it be interesting to hear your thought on that?
Thank you.
Your questions, good questions, but not for me. That to Wen Jiabao and maybe Li Keqiang, because that next year will be a new premier. Other questions.
I have a question.
王总你好，这个 Linda 你好，我是 Benson。
Hello, Mr. Wang. My name is Benson.
我就用中文问这个问
I'm
题
going
吧
to ask this question in Chinese.
I translate for you.
Mr. Wang says I'm going to translate for you.
这个问题是
My question is actually for both of you. But in any case, Linda is here, so I can ask this question. I want to ask a very practical question.
中国现在
In terms of China, you say China has lots of opportunities, so that there's also lots of surplus, wealth. So how can we move some of the, some of the surplus wealth in China to the UK, so that it can reactive the UK economy, i.e. to move Eastern wealth to the West? So that's a very direct question.
Please translate for me. 这个就是非常敏感的问题了。
This is a very sensitive question. Since you asked it in Chinese, I'm going to answer your question in Chinese. I think this question is also excellent question.
就是我们如何在中国的这市场当中
How are we going to create opportunities for the UK in the Chinese market?
我们觉得
We think that
我是因为是业务的关系和
because of my interest and also my business interests, I have been to many places in the UK, in the world. I could actually feel the Roman influence.
输水槽
So
一个城市的文明显然和罗马的文明
So basically, I think any city's development has a lot to do with old Roman. We have a word,
甚至
we have a word. We have a word in Chinese which I believe you have it here, i.e., every road lead to Rome. So if we haven't built so many, motorways, in Europe, you would still be using the Roman road. So therefore, you can actually see the influence, the ancient Roman, system to the modern.
创造的
Europe, and also let's look at British Empire. The British Empire, when they were controlling the world, they created a lot of civilization, which still is affecting us in the world. So the UK is actually was actually the most developed.
提到了刚才
We're now in a period of the post-industry period time. May I say that in the
我们都
West?
非常熟悉，有一
So
个标准
in my industry, we know MEED. We know
这
this.
是绿色建筑协会创造的标准
This is a standard, a benchmark created by the
建筑房地
Americans.
产业80%的人知道
About
绿
80% know this
可能
concept.
知
In
道
China, know this
BRE
concept.
的
They know BRE.
创造的这个英国的绿色建筑标准呢，可能不到10%。
But only 10% of the Chinese people know about this benchmark standard actually set out by the British.
但是作为标准，
As a benchmark,
BRE 创造的标准
BRE
要比绿的更严格。
actually is more strict compared with that in America, created by the Americas.
作为中国的
Therefore,
有影响力的
as
大
a
发展商，
as an influential a property developer in China, we're going to cooperate with the BRE in the UK.
因为是行业上的关系，我参观不下
I visited
12个
about
这样在全世界有名的
12
这样的
famous
植物园，但是让我最让我激动的，
botanic gardens
让我感
all over
叹
the world. What impressed me, impressed, what I can learn
不是
from.
其他的植物园不值得借鉴，就最值得借
I'm
鉴。
not saying the other 11 are not worth learning from, but one thing I can emulate, I think, is this Eden project I
这个
mentioned
时间
in
不
Cornwall.
展开了
But I don't want to
正是
give
这
you
样的学习
detailed
机会
information because
本
time
身
limitation.
对英国这样的
This
公
is
司
a very good
有一个
opportunity
生意机会。
So I want to point out this example because this demonstrates the British companies have huge opportunities, business opportunities in China. So we had a similar project, botanical garden project in Beijing. It's actually attended by the British ambassador in China. So this demonstrates that we have British companies do indeed opportunities in China, and it can be absolutely a leading role for us. Yeah, thank you. Oh, my answer is as simple as that. Chinese people can come to London, do more shopping. President Wang, I am the first Economy Weekly. I'm the journalist. My question is that you focus on studying, and we want to talk about, I would ask you about the future strategy. I understand you studied at Harvard University. Do you think what kind of impact on your future management skill? And so, talking about future, how do you improve Vanke? Is there any other companies you think we can look up as models for us, as good examples for us to learn? 听不见说话。 He doesn't speak with the loudspeaker. I can't hear anything.
So we can't actually hear what Mr. Wang is saying in order to provide you with interpretation. Okay, so now the sound is back. Now, really, when I went to Harvard, I really should have learned more than 3 years, and so far I've been there for 2 years. So according to my schedule, really, I should come to the UK to study. That's why I went to Cambridge yesterday. So it's more than likely that I'm going to attend Cambridge next year. So why do I have to study? So people ask me, what are you going to learn? Are you going to learn about management? Are you going to take an MBA? Or are you going to learn property development? And I say, no, none of them. Mainly, I want to learn, I want to study Western culture. And also religion. Now, whether do I believe in religion? Things like that. And so really more I would like to learn about the cultural background of Europe. So it's really not a lot to do with technology. If we just learn from technology, that's not enough. So you can't really say you can study this in 1 year, in 2 years, and it's a gradual process, and it's not enough just for me to come to learn. Yesterday, when I went to Cambridge, I had a discussion with students in Cambridge. They're all very young. They're not, over 30. So one of the students actually said, I came to the UK to study because I was influenced by you. I'm 40 years old, so I left my business in China and I come here to study. So really, the basic question is who you are, where you are, and where are you going? So that's my basic principal questions. As Vanke ourselves, really, we're in the process of, transformation. So to start with, the first transformation is from marketing to servicing. This is what I meant by post-industrial era, i.e. the services is actually a very important area. The second transformation is from technology to research and development. I think this transformation is going to take 10 years, 20 years, or even longer. Earlier on, I gave you an example of Japan. I would say that it was actually a very successful example. Whenever we talk about, Japan, then Chinese people would talk about, bubble industry, i.e. the bubble has, broke. So therefore, Japan has been low for about 20 years, 25 years. So that's the first issue. And second is about the island, i.e. the, dispute between China and Japan. You really mustn't let these two issues blind you. You might hate the Japanese, you might not like the Japanese people, but whether they are worth for you to learn from, that's another issue. So in terms of talking about transformation, Japan is actually a successful Eastern Asia country for us to learn. This is what I actually want to say. Last question, anyone?
Shall I go for it? Yeah, thank you. My question is about Europe and China. I am an alumnus of the school. My name is Fernando Diaz. I run a small consulting boutique called China Minds, working with Chinese investors in Europe. My question is you are in a position to basically be at the forefront of Chinese companies making a global footprint. You have best practices in your industry. It's an industry that is very local. You mentioned two companies, Tencent, Haier, Huawei. They're global champions in their industries. Do you have any ambitions for your company to become a global company? And what role can Europe play in helping the Chinese multinationals go global?
My company, that the business model that some IT industry that big different, because that local business. So normally you cannot find the international property developer very successful. Even you can very big, but only local business. Something. My company's business that residential, mainly residential property, so that mainly that invest in China. That forced my company's business model designed. Second, also there are that don't means we cannot invest abroad. In fact. As a matter of fact, our company already built international business, and maybe half years ago, we bought a listed company in Hong Kong. That purpose that for international business, and maybe next year we will invest it in America. Choose the city that New York, Boston, San Francisco. That for my company's business, that two purposes. First, learn how to operate as the developed countries' property market. So because as developed countries, that the property market is very mature. So I learn. At the second time, even began the international business. I think that our business the market not in developed countries, that in developing countries. Some countries such as the Russia, the India, Brazil, something like that, South Africa, so that we prepared for some business. So what about to deal with the foreign companies in developed countries? I think that also need cooperate. How to we cooperate to learn in developed countries and.
那么，怎么样在发展中国家投资？最大的一些
So that my answer.
多谢王总，非常高兴你能够
I'm most delighted, President Wang, and you come all the way to give a speech because of time limitation. I'm sorry I have to end you there.
然后如果你有机会的
I
话，去到
was-
文顿商
yeah,
学院，
I would
非
like
常欢迎你。
to invite you to come to our London school, business school, rather than going to Cambridge.
我昨天到剑桥，第一个剑桥那边就来。
I went to Cambridge
你去
yesterday,
牛津了吗？
and they asked me, "Have you been to Oxford?" I said, "Do not go to Oxford."
Thank you very much again, Mr. Wang Shi.
好
Terrific.
好，谢谢王石，非常谢谢。